If you are a registered nurse living outside of the US and you are interested in migrating to the US to work and live as an RN, please watch my video from start to end as I'll be explaining the process that it takes for a registered nurse from another country to migrate to America. And also I'll be telling my process as a RN from Jamaica who migrated to the United States and is now living and working here.
And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again.
Hello my YouTube family, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I thank you. For those who are returning, I really appreciate your support. So today in this video, I'll be talking about my immigration journey from Jamaica as an RN to the US. So many persons have been asking me the process that it took for me to migrate to America as a registered nurse. So today I'll be explaining the process in this video. I'll be giving you the timeline it took me to get here, the requirements I needed to have to get here, and also I'll be touching a little on the agency that I applied through to come here as a registered nurse. So if you're an RN in Jamaica or any country outside of the US and you are desirous of becoming an RN, living and working in the US, please stay with me, watch this video from start to finish as I will be explaining the process of migrating from another country to the United States as a registered nurse. Before I go into the process of me getting here as an RN, or the process I went through to get to the United States as an RN, let me just give you a little backstory. So I am a registered nurse. I'm also a registered midwife in Jamaica. I became a registered nurse in 2007 and I became a registered midwife in 2014. So I actually worked in my country, Jamaica, for approximately 10 years as a registered nurse and 4 years as a registered midwife before I decided to migrate to the US. Why did I decide to migrate to United States? So after working in my country for over many years, I decided that I wanted a new experience. I wanted to experience nursing somewhere else, in another country, another culture, and so I started looking. There were a few countries that I looked at. Some of them were not family friendly. I've had batchmates or colleagues from nursing school and also from midwifery school who migrated to countries overseas and even gave me links on how to apply to those countries, and trust me, they were paying good money, but at the same time they were not considering recruiting my family. So they were, in other words, not family friendly. So let's backtrack to 2015. And this is where the process all started. At my hospital that I had worked for many years, a colleague of mine, she came to me one day and she said, you're not considering migrating to the US? And I don't remember what I said to her, but I remember her coming to me and giving me this organization name and told me that I can apply. And I was like, okay. And I asked her to tell me more about it, and she told me about the organization and said, give it a try. Why not give it a try? And I said, okay, I'll give it a try. And so I decided that I was going to apply to the agency. So before I dive into my journey or the process it took for me to get here, I will just give a few requirements that you as an RN need before you can before you're able to migrate to the United States. And the first thing is you need to be a registered nurse in your country for at least 1 year, and also you need to have an active registered nurse license. So you need to have an active RN license. Secondly, you need to meet the educational requirements to work in the US as a registered nurse. Thirdly, you need to pass the NCLEX exam, and that is the National Council Licensure Exam. And that is an exam that you will have to do in order to get your license to practice in the United States. And fourth, you have to have an agency or an organization petition for you, that is to file for you to become a permanent resident or a green card holder, a permanent resident or a green card holder in the United States. So some persons, in terms of the NCLEX, some persons do the NCLEX on their own, while others do it through an agency. And I am one of the persons who did it through an agency. So I will tell you my process of coming to the US as an RN through an agency. I don't have all the details of how you do it on your own. As I said, I did not do it on my own. I did it through an agency. And the agency that I did it through is Avant Healthcare Professional. And this agency is a recruiting agency that is based in Orlando, Florida. And they recruit nurses, physical therapists, and occupational therapists from all over the world. So if you're interested, you can Google them. They also have a Facebook page. They also, I think, have a YouTube channel. You can look them up and get in touch with them. And my experience with them was great. They are a very good agency. And so if you need to, you can always, look them up, or you can comment in the comment section if you're interested, and I can, give you the link or, whatever. However, let me tell you about my process. So my process started in 2015. So on August 15, 2015 to be exact, I went online and I applied. So I filled out the application and submitted it to Avant Healthcare. And immediately after submitting that application, I got a response. And trust me, it was scary, because it was my husband and I that was there that night, and because we did everything together. He was there by my side throughout the process. And when I was doing the application, he was there. And first of all, let me say, when I was told about this agency, I was a bit skeptical, because I've known of persons who have tried to work overseas through various agencies, and some of them are not legit agencies, some of them are scams. And trust me, I am very skeptical when it comes to certain things, especially online agencies. And as I said, I was skeptical at first, and I was saying, I wonder if this is a scam. But one thing that I use to, comfort myself is that this organization doesn't ask you for money up front. So I always said to myself, if I have nothing to lose, because they're not asking me to pay money up front. All of this that I'm doing, they are the ones putting up the funds. They're the one paying for most of the stuff, and they're not asking me for anything. So I'm saying, like, if they're a scam, at the end of the day, they lose, I don't lose. So I said, what do I have to lose? Let me do it. And so I did the application, and as I said, I got a response immediately. And I said to my husband, like, this is scary, because I did not expect to get such a quick response. Anyways, we were like, okay, we'll see what happens from here. And then within a few days after submitting the application, I got a response. Approximately on August 21st, I got an email from them saying that there was a screening exam that I needed to do online. And this screening exam actually is an exam to test your basic knowledge, clinical knowledge, and also an English exam, which you have to pass. And so I did the exam, passed the exam, submitted the exam. And so with this agency, you need to have an email that you check every day. Prior to applying for, to Avant Healthcare to migrate to the US, I was not a person who checked my email on a regular basis. But when I started this process, trust me, every single day, even more than once per day, I would check my email, because these people constantly, they would respond to you promptly. And sometimes if they don't respond to you right away, it takes like a few days, they will respond back to you. And therefore, and this is mostly the way they communicated. There are some times that they'll do some phone calls, but mostly it was through emails. On September 18th, I received another email which stated that I needed to sign my employment contract with the agency. Because this recruiting agencies, they recruit nurses to staff the hospital. So within your contract period, you will be working at an assigned hospital based on your specialty area, which mine was labor and delivery, and you will be paid through the agency. And the period of time that you stay with them is technically 3 years, but it's not calendar years, but hours. So if you work more hours, it's less time that you have with them. Because I think I did a total of like 2.5 years based on the amount of hours before my contract was ended with them. And then once your contract is done, you are free to go on your own. So I got the contract on September 18th to sign my employment contract, which tells you about your pay, your hours of work, among other things, which I did, and I submitted it to them. And then on September 29th, I got another email stating that I needed to submit my documents, and these were like your birth certificate, marriage certificate, passport information, among other things. And so I did. After submitting those documents, I submitted it for my son, my husband, and myself at that time, my biological son. However, further on in the process, I learned that I was able to add my stepchildren to the petition, and therefore I did that. So after submitting my documents, the next step was to apply for my CES report. And CES stands for Credential Evaluation Services. And this is a body that evaluates or analyze your credential as a nurse. So anybody who has obtained education outside of the US, they will have to have a CES report done. And this is where the agency will look at your documents, look at your license, even your high school diplomas and exam results. They will evaluate all of those to see if your level of education matches that of the nurses that are have studied in the United States. And so this the agency emailed me on November 20th telling me that they have submitted my application and that they have paid for my CES report. And the CES report was done by CGFNS. GFNS stands for Commission of Graduates on Foreign Nursing Schools, and this body will evaluate all your documents to make sure that you fit the standard of what the United States is expecting you to have as a registered nurse working here in the US. So that after I applied for my CAS report, I was some of the documents that I needed to send to CGFNS to have them do the CS report was my transcript, and that transcript had to be sent directly from my nursing school. And because I was double trained in my country, I was a RN and a registered midwife as well, I had to get both transcripts. So even though I was not being recruited as a midwife per se, I still had to have all my documents from midwifery school. So I had to submit my nursing transcript, I had to submit my midwifery transcript, I had to submit my nursing license, and I also had to submit my midwifery license. Even my, as I said, my high school diploma and certificate from exams that I did when I was in high school, such as in Jamaica or the Caribbean, we do what is called CXC, which is the Caribbean Examination Council, and also GCE. I had to submit those documents as well. And once I submit those documents and they were verified and clear, then the preparation for NCLEX was started. So in preparation for the NCLEX, because I came through an agency, I did it through an agency, all the books and the materials that were needed for the NCLEX were sent directly to me from my agency, and I didn't have to pay a thing. They covered all the expenses for the books, all the shipping expenses, and all these were done through courier services. So they were sent quickly, and as I said, we didn't have to pay anything upfront. The agency paid everything. So once I got the materials to prepare for the NCLEX exam, I started studying, and this preparation was, I think, 4 to 5 months. The preparation was before you were signed up to do the NCLEX exam. So we had to do like weekly modules online as well. Apart from the books that they sent us, there were modules that were assigned online that we had to do weekly tests, weekly exams, and we had to pass those exams in order to move forward. So you'd have a week one modules, week one exams, and in order to move to week 2, you had to finish the modules and pass the exam to move on. And we did this for, as I said, a period of 4 to 5 months. So during that preparation, you would also have somebody who is assigned to you who would call you from time to time to see how you're doing, help you along with the process. We would also have webinars online with our instructors who would do questions online, prepare us in terms of what to expect from doing the NCLEX exam, because we are from overseas and not everybody does NCLEX exam in their country. We have our own country exams or region exams, and therefore they walk you through the process of what the NCLEX exam is all about, and they would do online, quizzes and stuff like that. So they definitely didn't leave you alone. They constantly assisted you in preparing for the NCLEX exam. So while preparing for my NCLEX exam, there were things that I needed to do as well to get ready for the exam itself. And so on March 25th, 2016, my agency reached out to me and told me to set up an account with Pearson VUE. And Pearson VUE is the agency that handles registration and scheduling of the NCLEX exam. And so I went ahead and online I set up my account with Pearson VUE. And on April 21st, 2016, I was able to register for my NCLEX exam with Pearson VUE. After registering for my exam, I was issued with my ATT, and the ATT is the authorization to test. So after getting my ATT, I was able to schedule my exam date, which I did. My exam was scheduled for June 28, 2016. And for the NCLEX exam, my agency did everything. They were the one who made the travel arrangements. They were the one who made bookings for the hotel that we were going to stay for the time that we were there for the exam. They also made arrangements to have us picked up from the airport to take us to the hotel. So exam was done on June 28th. We went back home on June 29th, and 2 days later on June 30th, I got my NCLEX results. And guess what? I passed because I'm here. So I passed my NCLEX. I got an email, 2 emails. The first one I got from my NCLEX instructor. She emailed me, and I'll put a link. I'll put it here so you can see it. Saying congratulations, you passed your exam. And I also got another email from another person in the organization saying congratulations, I passed my exam, and the process it would take moving forward from the exam. So after receiving my NCLEX result, it was now time to apply for my visa screen, and the visa screen is done through CGFNS as well. One of the requirements for the visa screen is that you do an international proficiency exam, which is called IELTS. I did not have to do that exam because not all state requires that exam, and my Board of Nursing was in Florida and they did not require it, so I was exempt from that exam. So I applied for my visa screen, and then after applying for my visa screen, On June 28, 2017, I got my email saying that I was scheduled for my visa interview at the US Embassy. So after I received my email saying that my visa interview was scheduled, I had to go ahead and make an appointment to have my medical done, because you have to do a medical before your visa interview. And so I went ahead online also and I applied for my medical for me and my family. And on July 11, 2017, we all went to do our medical. Once we had the medical done, the documents were faxed over to the US Embassy, and that had to be done within a certain time for it to be sent to the US Embassy to be ready for the time when you go to the embassy for your interview. It has to be there. If your medical is not there on the time when you go for your interview, then they will not do your interview. And so I had to schedule ahead of time, in enough time for them to have the documents sent over. And so on August 3rd at 7:30, we all went to the US interview at the US Embassy in Kingston, and for my exit interview. And all of us went, my husband and my kids, we all went for the exit interview. And it was a good interview. I think they didn't ask much question. It was basically a fun interaction. The interview, the person that was doing the interview was very friendly, very professional, and but before we went to the interview, we had to get a package from my agency with my visa screen, along with my documents from the agency, employment letter from the agency saying that I would be employed with them, stuff like that, and all the other documents that were relevant to the interview. And so normally you're supposed to get it a week before, and mine was a little challenging because I didn't get mine until probably 2 days before I went to the embassy. At one point, because it was sent via courier service, I think it was FedEx or DHL, one of them I think it was FedEx. And I remember at one point I got an email from FedEx saying that I would be getting the documents on August 4th, and my interview is August 3rd. So can you imagine? So I had to be emailing my contact person at Avant, and they reached out to FedEx and expedited it, and I got it I think a day or two before my interview. And so we all went to the embassy on that day. We were all approved. We got our packages a few days via a courier service. Again, they were delivered to us. So following my visa interview, I reached out to my agency and I informed them that I was successful. We were all successful at the visa interview, and a few days to a week, we all got our packages that we needed to take with us while we migrated to the US. And I sent in my letter of resignation after my interview, because I was not gonna resign before my interview, because I wanted to make sure that I got through first before I resigned my job, and which I did afterwards. And then following that, then my agency gave me a date for my transition, which was September 4th. I think the initial date for transition was gonna be September 11th, but because I am a labor and delivery nurse, there were stuff that I needed to do a week before everybody else came in. So I had to come in a week early to do my labor and delivery stuff. And so my agency went ahead and booked my flights, made all my travel arrangements, housing and everything. And so I stayed in Orlando, Florida at the Havant Healthcare apartment, and that was where I stayed for 8 weeks, I think, for my cultural and clinical transition. So I arrived in the US on September 1st, 2017. And so it basically took me a period of 2 years, or from the time I applied to the time I arrived in the US. So it was not a long period. It was pretty much a short period of time. A lot of persons in different countries, or even persons that I met in transition, told me that they have, the process took so long. Some person told me 10 years, 7 years, 6 years. So surprisingly, mine was, 2 years. And yeah, so that is it. That's my process. That's my journey. Thank you for watching. continue to watch, because I will be doing more videos. I'll be doing a video about when I arrived in the US, what it was like. I'll be doing video about the transition process at Avant, the things that we learned, the things that we did, and also about my when I was transferred to my hospital, the state that I went, and what it was like. So please continue to share, continue to comment, continue to like, and continue to watch my videos. I thank you and have a good day, and I hope you learned something from this video. And if you have any questions, you can type it in the comments and I'll do my best to answer all of them. Have a good day.